Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the greatest disaster on the internet. It's the Four Heads Podcast. I'm Goldenboy alongside with Bren, Sideshow, Reinforced. We're going to talk your ear off about things that don't matter. Come on, Bren.
I wasn't ready for that kind of energy this morning.
Yeah, you want to restart?
No,
you want to
no,
restart?
we're not.
No, I don't want to restart. I was just saying I wasn't ready for that kind of energy.
I have a flight to catch in a few hours. I got to get a haircut. I need you guys on your toes. Okay.
Where are you going?
Also,
where are you going?
I'm going to North Carolina.
Ooh,
to host
I don't know why
the
I'm
Rainbow Six Major.
Ooh,
Which is it's gonna be.
Oh
great.
yeah, isn't that where Epic is?
Yeah, it's also where Epic is as well. Yeah. I might just hit up my buddy Nate.
Yeah, hit him, Nate. Ask him what's up.
No,
Hey,
Rainbow Six is Ubisoft.
Hit him up, dog. Isn't that what Bren does? Like, hey, hit him up, dude.
Hit him up.
Rainbow Six is Ubisoft, Johnny.
what kind of haircut you going for? Well, you going for the
mullet? Just
fresh
a
fade,
standard Puerto Rican fade. Just keeping it nice and Caribbean. Not trying to throw much out there. Also, I don't really have much to work with.
That's true.
Are you balding?
Huh?
You balding?
It's hitting me a little bit in the back.
Really?
Just a touch.
Have you ever tried
facial hair?
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad I can grow facial hair. Imagine if you balded from your face, though.
Wait, are you just directly calling me out? Imagine if you balded from your face first.
Oh, I didn't realize
facial hair.
I'm sorry, I didn't realize you can't grow hair.
Yo,
that's my bad.
He's molding.
I'm
That's a
molding.
yikes for me. Johnny too. I don't even know why you're saying yo because you where's your facial hair at?
Hey, okay. Well, I actually shave it.
I think you'd look amazing with a beard, Johnny.
No, but I tried to have a beard when I played competitive Overwatch. Google this right now.
Oh,
the
yeah,
fisherman
you had a
beard.
neck beard.
I had a neck beard.
Reinforced fisherman beard.
No, that's not what you should Google. But yeah, if you Google 2016, APAC or Apex or something like that, I'm pretty sure you'll get me with a beard. When I won APAC and I held the trophy in my Instagram picture, I had the wildest neck beard. But it's so weird because I was so overconfident, that I thought I could rock it. Because when you're the best in the world at Overwatch, you kind of get this level of self-confidence. It's sort of like Super. He's just too cocky, he's too overconfident. I had that same thing in 2016, and I was like, I can rock a neck beard.
That explains so much about a lot of the players in our league, and the way they look. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, because you
also
just
explains a lot about how you just charged in face first as Reinhardt.
So much confidence.
Yeah, because I knew
that confidence.
I can't even find this picture of you as well.
Yeah, I can't find it.
All I'm finding is you as talent.
Yeah.
Also,
within the bowels of the internet.
When I Google Reinforce APAC, it just comes up with a bunch of business stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's reinforce your business in the Asia Pacific region. I'm like, no, that's not what I'm trying to do.
If it's not
while you guys are looking for Johnny's long lost past as a bearded man, we can neither confirm nor deny. We want to let everyone know some housekeeping. Four Heads about to hit 4.5K subs on YouTube. So get out there, let us know that you like the podcast by subscribing. Also hit the bell so that this way you can be informed when new videos are going online. Also, make sure you subscribe to us on all the platforms of the podcasting that you prefer to listen to, whether that be Apple, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Anchor. I don't know where the hell kids congregate these days. And I totally sound like a boomer there, but whatever. We're gonna just glance past that. Also, sponsor us. That's actually a bullet point here. Sponsor us. That's all I got. I don't know if you want your brand associated with this, but if you do and you want to take that risk, hit us up today. Also, reviews.
Does this link work for you? I don't know.
Oh dear
just
God.
to Facebook.
Oh yes. Okay. Right, here we go. This is Johnny the Fisherman. Just a quick break from the housekeeping to see Johnny the Fisherman. How old are you in this picture, Johnny?
It was 2016, so I was 21.
21.
Yeah, that looks like yesterday.
You look older. You look
why
older.
Why are they handing out dildos as trophies?
Wow.
I don't know who did
I mean, that gives me way too much information into how loose your asshole is, actually, Bren.
And who also
what?
said dildo trophy.
Anything's a dildo if you're brave enough. Wise advice that was passed down my family. Right.
Have you taken advantage of that advice?
Listen,
I'm sure he does.
We don't kink shame on this podcast, Johnny.
Sure. Not
Well,
gonna.
I can tell by all the
not gonna
poop you
kink
guys
shame
are
you.
obsessed with.
Nothing wrong with a bit of bum play.
All right, let's get back to the
Hey,
housekeeping.
Reel it in, dude. Reel it in.
Oh man, we're like minutes in. We already talked about dildos and bum play. We are so gonna get demonetized. Okay, so actually, we're not even getting monetized. So low.
Yeah.
We literally do this podcast out of the pure enjoyment of the four of us getting together and yelling about random crap, mostly AI. So, you know. Oh, I mean, is it okay? I guess we could talk about it.
Yeah.
I might as well mention it. So someone mentioned the other day about making shirts, and I actually started the process, and we reached out to Ult. Nothing's official right now, but they hit us up. I've been talking to them for a while now. They're a really good group. In case you're not familiar with it, maybe you don't come from the Overwatch League. They make all the gear for the Overwatch, or some of the gear for the Overwatch League. Correct? I'm right there.
Yeah.
I
don't think they make everything, but they make a lot of it.
Yeah, their stuff is like really high quality, super awesome. So we're talking to them, and it seems like it's gonna happen. So we're gonna get foreheads shirts. I don't know what the hell they look like, because we got to send them we sent them the files, and then they're gonna work their magic. But yeah, so it's probably gonna be like a flash sale. So when it happens, we'll probably end up doing it with like maybe a special edition of the podcast, or maybe do it live, or we just basically got to get in that booty and let everyone know what's going on. So
random idea, but this is sort of what this podcast is about. I would love a shirt with like two-headed ogres, and one ogre is Josh and Bren, and one ogre is me and Goldenboy.
I actually really like that.
That's a great idea. I love that idea. I was also gonna say just getting the logo or something and having it hand drawn by Bren. I think would be mad fun. Just Bren's interpretation of the logo, just like a little kid has drawn.
Yeah, it can't be. It has to be an interpretation of the logo. It cannot be the actual logo.
He can't see the logo when he's drawing.
He can't see the logo.
Has to be from memory.
No.
Yes.
Didn't you take art or something, Bren? Weren't you going to go into art?
Bren took art.
No, when I was a kid, I was very much into it, and then I got forced out of it.
Why were you forced out of it?
Forced out of the art game at a young age. Why? What happened?
Yeah. Because
it's like divergent Hitler paths. Like he got forced out of the art game. So did Bren.
Because I really wanted to get. When I was a kid, I liked drawing, and art was my favorite subject. And I used to draw a lot when I was a kid. It used to be okay. And I wanted to take it as a subject, but my school pushed me into STEM subjects.
Why?
Because they're a shit school.
Oh, okay.
Okay, well, I guess it's not really much to that story.
But they were like, they thought it was like, there's no tragic story like my father was killed by a paintbrush or some shit.
Or you working at Tesco.
Yes. It always comes back to that. But it was just a case of my school pushing students into STEM subjects because that's what gets the best university admission rates.
They want to bump up their numbers.
In my defense, or not my defense, actually, my sad life, the opposite actually happened in my school.
Sorry, but before you start, I really just love the idea of Bren in a painting class and like drawing and like doing like the sun in the upper left corner, painting the flowers, the hill, and then the teacher just grabbing Bren's hand and just being like, "You're not good at this, Bren. You should move on. You should try something else."
Dude, I was actually a boss. I had some talent when it came to the artistic arts.
See, I don't understand how that could be possible when you can't draw letters.
He can't draw.
No, he draws like B's the wrong way around, and like he does his E from the bottom, or he does twos backwards and stuff.
It's an artistic touch.
I do my E from the bottom, like
you do your E. No, not capital E. The little E. He goes.
I start from the middle and then I wrap around.
Yes, that's how human beings write E's.
So when I was learning to write, I have a distinct memory as a kid of they were trying to teach us letters. This is in quite literally the lowest form of schooling. Well, not really the lowest. It was reception. So it was kind of the lowest. But I remember they gave us these little notebooks and we would have to practice writing the letter A. And I couldn't wrap my head around stopping the letter A. So what I would do is I would draw the circle for A. I'd draw the circle for A, and I just keep going all the way.
So you'd fill an entire page with one A.
yeah, and it would just be the line as it went out with the A, and it would go for the entire page. And I remember the teacher, as a kid. Honestly, I don't know where my schools were hiring these people. I think she was mentally ill, honestly, because she was just shouting at us, these small children, shouting at me for messing up the letter A. I was like, what do you want from me? I'm fucking 6. Like, you can't expect me to grasp this shit instantly. I don't even think I was 6. I was probably like 4.
But I've never heard of anybody failing to realize when to stop. Like... did that happen with every letter memories. Or just the A?
Just A, because it was the first one we were learning to write was A.
Right.
And I would go like that, and I was just like, oh, I don't know how to stop. I just keep going. I just couldn't register in my mind to stop.
In my mind, as you were saying that, I was thinking of like, they do those podcasts where they'll have like animation and stuff. Mm-hmm. So I was thinking about an animated sequence of Bren as a child yelling at his teacher, I don't fucking know what to do. And then we're just all laughing in the background. It was great content.
We need to hire one of those people.
Yeah, it's a shame we don't have an artist on staff.
If you're an animator, hit us up.
You know how much work that is? It's an outrageous amount of work.
We just hired them for the money we're getting.
Yeah, but we're the best assassin on the internet.
We're making so much money. It's freaking insane. I don't even know what to do with all this money.
I'm investing in AI.
Bren actually has started investing in stocks, though. Bren over the last couple of weeks has decided to invest.
We're gonna put on that because that is quality content.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say real quick. You had mentioned school. You're saying that they were stopping you from like going into art. It was actually the opposite for me. I wanted to be a chef, and then but my school was like, no, go to like a CUNY, go to like which CUNY is not a bad, it's like City University of New York, but at the time they had like depicted CUNYs as like the poor man's school, so it was like, no, you can't get into cooking school, just go to this regular ass college and maybe not get a degree. Was education.
Fuck the man.
That's exactly how it is. So you know what I ended up doing? Not going to school. Damn right. Look at me now. All this money.
Same.
Yeah.
Raking it in.
2 most successful people in the school didn't go to fucking college.
Exactly. Nailing it. Meanwhile, what did Josh do?
Johnny, you go to college?
Be a freaking doctor or something? Nope. Dumbass.
No. 3 most successful people in the school didn't go to college.
I mean, I barely
went to college, had to quit because he realized if he actually completed his education, then he would not succeed in life.
What did you went to school for, Josh?
Me?
Where you were going? No, yeah, where you going to college for?
Medicine. I was going to become a doctor.
What a dumbass, right? Get a load of this guy. Get a load of this dumbass. Am I right, guys? Wow, what a freaking moron.
Yeah, I would have been trapped, earning no money, wiping the butts of sick people.
You would have been wiping my ass.
Yeah,
I think you more would have been like one of the insane doctors in like Amnesia. That just does like wonky shit and just tries to.
How do you connect those two?
Well, I can look at Josh's forehead and I resemble an insane guy pretty easily.
All right, well, let's get to some of the Apple podcast reviews.
I gotta say as well, I realized in the middle of that we were probably insulting the entirety of the medical profession.
Why?
So what do you mean?
Why?
I'm implying that wiping asses isn't a good job. Listen, my nan wipes asses. My mum's a nurse. She wipes asses.
I don't think anyone would claim that wiping asses is a great job. I think even the people that do that don't enjoy it.
Don't be sold by my lies. Don't go into nursing or anything like that.
We all know that the real money is in podcast.
Now you're misselling nursing and doctoring doctoring. I'm actually just getting infected by Bren. as just wiping asses. There's care and love
there's a lot more
involved
to
and
it.
compassion.
There's a lot more to it.
Helping
You have to
people.
wash your hands every now and then.
I should hope so if you're wiping asses.
Yeah.
Imagine
Anyway,
like
Goldenboy,
like
carry on.
Let's talk about some of the Apple Podcast reviews. We got a couple good ones here. We're now ranked 4.9 out of 5 because we have one 1-star review and one 4-star review. And the 4-star review, I can't believe it. It comes at the cost of myself. It's from West Bond. West Bond, my friend, says, Goldenboy, join AEW. Goldenboy, I can't give you 5 stars until you do another AEW show. Literally out of my hands. There's nothing I could do about that.
What a dickhead.
And so he rated 4 stars because of that. Well, I did discover while I was in Peru and my wife was shopping all around. I was looking at ratings and stuff. If we can get up to like 150 ratings, I think we might end up like showing up on the iTunes like most watched thing.
What?
Isn't watched generally to do with views rather than ratings?
No, because it's like all algorithm.
Okay.
It's all like
it's
AI, bro. It's all AI, dude.
Okay, on August the 8th, August the 7th, The Four Heads was the 46th most listened to podcast in the United States in the leisure category.
Wow.
What is the leisure category? What is that?
Leisure. Leisure. It's pronounced leisure.
No, it's leisure. Okay, that's fair.
Definitely leisure.
You guys speak English wrong.
It rhymes with pleasure because you have leisure and pleasure.
Ah, wow. I say pleasure, so
you do not say pleasure.
No, you don't.
Get out of here.
Oh man. So some of the other reviews that we had here. This is actually a great one. It's from Wheelzer. Says massively entertaining idiocy cage match. And he says, what happens when you lock up Goldenboy, Reinforced Sideshow, and Bren in a chat with apparently no rules for creating thoughtful and structured content? Answer: this podcast. If all the news of the world didn't have you worried about that the world is going to end soon, this podcast will end all doubts. Considering how often this podcast talks about the future of technology, you would think you would become well-informed every show. Yet, every episode, your brain cells have been put through a permanent slumber. Not into technology talk, don't fret. They will follow every rabbit hole of conversation to the deepest depth of the earth, especially if the concept involves natural bodily functions. You'll laugh, cry, laugh, question existence, laugh, and at the end of it all, think, how did I listen to all of that? And I wouldn't have it any other way. Love this podcast. Highly recommended. Thank you so much, Wilzer, for that one. Guys, once again, you want to leave a review, go down, check us out on the Apple Podcast. Leave a review, rate us. You can rate us 5 stars, 4 stars. I don't give a shit. I think really.
I need as many reviews as possible because I've realized that there's a high likelihood I just don't get hired next year after talking about fiddling with my bum at the start of this podcast.
Yeah. Exactly.
I need 150 5-star reviews ASAP on my desk by Monday.
Yeah, because otherwise Bren won't be able to. What are you planning to do? Just send them in to whoever's going to hire you. Just send in your Apple reviews.
No, I think you said 150 you get on the front page, right?
In my mind, I'm guessing.
My mind, that's how we get money.
Yeah.
Mr. Apple is going to come down and he's going to send us a check.
Mr. Apple.
Who is Mr. Apple now?
It's a Tim Cook. Remember when we don't talk about politics here, but we got to talk about this. Trump was like, he was like, I'd like to thank Tim Apple for having us here.
Tim Apple? He said that?
Yeah, everyone's like, who the fuck is Tim Apple?
What?
It's Tim Cook from Apple, the current like head of Apple or CEO or whatever. But he called him Tim Apple.
I'll tell you what, though. Listen, the US and the UK, we're going to be like this, bro. You know that meme where it's like you're grasping hands?
The Predator
This
meme.
is it. The UK over here, the US over here. Fucking, you got Trump and you got Brexit. Boom.
Boom. Nailing it.
I love the idea of every CEO having to like get the last name of their company.
Jeff Amazon.
So you have to call him like Bill Microsoft or something.
Bill Microsoft.
Mr. Microsoft.
Well, then
Mr. Microsoft.
Didn't Nintendo just promote somebody to a really high position called Bowser?
Bowser.
Yeah. Bowser
Yeah,
Nintendo.
Yeah, Doug
No,
Bowser.
his
And he's
first
actually
name isn't Bowser, Johnny. He wouldn't be called Bowser Nintendo.
What? That was the point.
No. His surname is Bowser.
Yeah, his name is
What's
Doug Bowser. He is the current president and chief operating officer of Nintendo America. Took over for Reggie Phil's Iaming, I think I'm pronouncing that right.
Anime.
No, it's not anime fucking bot.
Anime.
This is not what it is. Yeah, so last week on the podcast, we actually asked you guys to share with us some of your most embarrassing yet fondest childhood memories. And the first one of us that is going to share a story. I'm guessing
this isn't even a memory, mate. This is just look at Johnny's head. We were going to go through memories, but beforehand, I know that Johnny just got one of the greatest haircuts. He told me the bare bones of this story, and I was crying. And this was just over like WhatsApp.
So this is not childhood memories. This is Johnny's haircut. Johnny the floor.
This was like
Brent
a week
says
ago.
It looks pretty good.
It does look pretty
Honestly,
good.
it's not even that bad.
Yeah,
it's pretty decent. It's very
It's
short.
pretty good.
I was just really scared, like when it happened. So essentially, I wanted to get a fresh cut on Monday, right? Like I look at Bren on the daily. I was like, this man.
I don't get that many fresh cuts.
Yeah, but you got some fresh cuts. I mean, you go to Silver Lake, you go to your barber.
Nah, not anymore.
No, not anymore.
Not
but
anymore,
can you just let me tell this story?
Sure. Yeah, carry on. I'm just tearing holes.
No, Bren must tell you that he doesn't go to a Silver Lake barber anymore. It's imperative that you know this.
Jealous of this, of course. I wanted to go to my own barber, but the problem is I haven't really gone to a barber in the past. I've just gone to a typical hairdresser, right? But I didn't want that. I wanted the real barber experience, right? So I Google barbers in Glendale, and I find this pretty good spot. It's called the Barber Brothers. I'm like, cool, 5 stars, 11 reviews. What?
Keep it in the family, the Barber Brothers.
Yeah, why not? That's pretty cool. The brothers, and they do haircuts, and it's pretty sick. So, I mean, it already starts out pretty weird because essentially I walk into this building and it's a maze of just salon studios.
Yeah,
it's
salon,
like different
salons.
Yeah. So it's literally just like 20 different salons of like haircut places. And they've just got a giant map with numbers that says like which saloon is where on this one address. I'll show you guys. It's wild. It's just like a 5-10 minute walk from here, and it's wild. Just like 20-30 different kind of saloons.
What? I love that you keep saying saloons, because saloons are like Wild West bar places. like you would go for a haircut. You would go for a haircut. You wandered into a place where they're just sat at the bar and they're like, "You shouldn't have come to this town. There's only room for the one of us."
Anyway. So I look at this map and I find my place, and obviously it's in the back of the maze, right? So I have to walk past all of these different hairdressers and barbers, not saloons.
Sure.
And eventually I get there, and it's pretty simple. There's no windows, there's 2 mirrors, 2 barber chairs, there's a couch, and they have Netflix on the TV. And I think to myself, well, this is a pretty cool spot. So I knock on the door, say, "Hey, it's Jonathan. I got an appointment for 11 a.m. And there's 3 people actually. And they just look at me and they don't say anything. And he just motions to go sit on the couch. And I'm like, it's pretty weird. You don't even say hello. Like, okay, fair enough.
Okay.
One of the hairdressers leaves. So there's one customer in a chair and there's one barber, going at it, cutting his hair. And I sit there and I wait. It's pretty awkward because it's a very small room. And I'm just sitting in this couch watching Netflix. And obviously in the corner, they have like a bunch of booze. There's whiskey because it's a barber joint, right? So you want to have whiskey there. It's very manly, that kind of vibe to it. So anyway, the customer and the barber, they don't speak at all. They don't exchange words. There's nothing going on. And I'm like, wow, these people got to know each other, I suppose, because, they don't have anything to talk about. Anyway, they finish the haircut. They shake hands. And the customer walks out. I'm like, not even a goodbye. Like, Like, what is going on here? Like, they're not even saying goodbye. They just don't even talk. And so it's my turn, and their barber motions me to go sit in the chair, and I'm like, hey, nice to meet you. And the guy can't talk, like, and I realize that at this barber joint, both of the barbers are deaf.
Oh my god.
They can't talk, so he just motions and does hand gestures, and is like trying to communicate with me how to get my hair done. And I freak out, and I'm like, I can't do hand signals for how I want my hair cut. But at the same time, I'm loving it, because who the fuck goes to a deaf barber to get their hair cut? And I'm like, this is such an amazing, unique experience. I'm going to live it out firsthand. This is the type of shit you hear on a podcast that you don't get to experience, but I get to experience it, and now tell it on the podcast that you're listening to. It's incredible. So anyway,
What happened?
Hold on. So I sit there, and we're going to decide what kind of haircut I'm going to get. But he doesn't have a catalog of like haircuts or whatever. So I'm like, I want to cut it short, and I like motion, and he does like, do you want 1, 2, or 3? And I'm like, I don't know what 1, 2, 3 means. So it's just like the length.
Levels is length.
Yeah. And I'm just like, well, I'll go with 2 then. And he's just like, doesn't say anything, but brings out the razor, and he just, like when you shave, you have like the razor, and it kind of goes, like this, downwards with the things. Sure. He just flips it upside down and just like starts raking my hair, just and it's just hair flying, and I'm like, holy shit, what have I done? Like, I've gone to this deaf barber, and he's just mowing my hair down, and it's like, my girlfriend's going to hate me. But he does a pretty stellar job, and overall I'm happy with it, and I'm just like, I want to tell this guy that I love him, and he means so much to me, but I'm just sitting there with a stupid smile on my face because I can't talk to him, and I'm just like and he's like, hey, is this cut good here? Is this good? And I'm just like, good man, it's good, man. Yeah, thumbs up, dude. And I'm just loving it. Like, I'm almost laughing maniacally in the chair while I'm getting a haircut, because I just love this experience. And at the end of it, I just show him my card, and he gives thumbs up. We take cards, and I pay, shake hands, and I pat him on the shoulder. And I just come out with this fresh-looking cut from a deaf barber with a 5-star review on Google Maps.
Would you go back?
Absolutely, 100%. And I mean, I don't really care what anyone thinks about that story overall. I just loved every moment of it, because
it's different.
It's different, and I just love it. I don't know what else to say.
It's so, but I mean, yeah. I got a message that said, laugh my ass off, I've just been to a deaf barber's, he lawnmowered my hair.
Dude, I was so scared. Yeah. Like, I've never had my hair this short, and he was like, oh, how do you want me to cut the back? And I'm like, I don't know what you mean. He did like this kind of stroking motion in the back or something else, and I'm like, I don't know what you mean. So he just kind of like razored the back of my head too.
Yeah,
no, it looks good.
It's giving you a fresh fade on a
give you a fade. Yeah, that's all it is, brother. You just listen, all right? You just roll up to the hood, you good to go.
But there was something about that experience in not being able to talk with my barber, and I just
that I think is the more incredible experience.
What do you mean you roll up to the hood and you're good to go?
Look at him, baby. He's fresh, bro. He's got lines. You lined up. That's all that really is, boo.
Hey,
you lined up.
Turn up, dude.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely. No, we don't do that. No, we don't do that. We don't do dabs. That's not what we do.
Can I tell you a story of how I first came into contact with death?
With death? Well, wait. Before you talk about death, I just want to say, small, like, little addendum for my haircut story. When I lived in California, no one knew how to cut my hair, because in New York, we have a very specific style of how we cut our hair. I went to Supercuts, and it was all Asian barbers. And I went in, and the lady looked at me, and she legit was like, I don't know how to cut your hair. And then I left. She said she refused to cut my hair because my hair was like my hair is like rough, nappy, like.
Yeah.
So she just looked at me. She's just like, I can't.
That's a broken hairdresser. She's seen some shit.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know, like if her clippers were made of like paper or something, where like she clipped on my nappy ass hair and we're like, and it was just break. So I was just like, all right, goodbye. And
your hair was too
goodbye. Goodbye. Thank you. Bye. All right, death. Let's talk about death, Bren. What were you saying?
Wait, what was your setup for this story, Bren?
The concept of morality.
Okay.
This was your first touch with death.
Yeah.
We
as
have
a child.
Subjects. As a child. Okay, so childhood memories? Is that where we're going?
Memories.
Let's go.
All right. This is going to give you some insight into what made Bren. Because I know some people are like, I don't know how he survives on a day-to-day basis. I'll tell you how I survived.
Think about that every night before I go to bed. Yeah.
Natural
selection.
But okay, so let me set the scene. Okay. It's a lovely winter's day in a council estate in Gloucester, England. And we were just wrapping up Christmas at the time. And
I know it's gonna be better. Yeah.
I think you just induced a stroke in Johnny.
Go, Brad, go.
We were just wrapping up Christmas at the time. It was a great time. I was probably around 10 years of age. And we had a fake Christmas tree because literally, I mean, real Christmas trees, that's some white people shit. You know what I mean?
Yo, that ass, he ain't wrong.
I can't fuck with that.
Fake ass Christmas trees my whole life. First time I had a real Christmas tree was this year. You want to know why? Because I be living in a neighborhood where white people doing that shit.
Exactly.
I lived right next to a woods. We just chopped our own and just brought it in.
Okay, calm down, fisherman.
All right.
Johnny.
We used to grow one in our garden.
It's a grow a Christmas tree.
Yeah, every year we would plant it back in the garden and then we would dig it up again and put it in our front room.
No,
that's sadistic. Yeah. That is sadistic.
Yeah. How is that sadistic?
Here, trees suffer for a little bit. Now come back in. We're gonna come back next year and cut your fucking trunk off. Then you're gonna pluck it back out. The tree's just like, kill me, please. All right, Brian, go ahead.
We had a fake Christmas tree, and for the first time and the last time for Christmas, we used fake snow, a spray-on can of fake snow, to make it look like it was white on it, right?
Yeah.
No.
What's wrong with that?
That's
Johnny?
some white people shit. That is some white people shit. Go ahead.
Are you kidding me?
Because my mum picked it up at Poundland, and she just wanted to change things up at Christmas, you know.
I respect that, Mom.
Yeah. But the trouble with it was it got everywhere and like all over the floor, and we were constantly having to hoover up. So what we did is we had a big basket, a real heavy basket, that was quite wide, that was meant for just like storing stuff in. It was, I think, meant for like dirty clothes, whatever. But we just put the fake Christmas tree in it, so it would collect the fake snow, and we wouldn't have to clean up at the end. But it didn't really work. There was still fake snow everywhere. And so Christmas comes and goes, and I have another lovely year of being a child. My innocence still intact at this point. But here's where my innocence gets torn away from me.
Oh, Jesus.
Brutally. In one of the worst ways imaginable. Okay. What was the youngest age you've ever killed something?
Maybe like 13 or something.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah. You ever killed someone at the age of 10?
No.
Well, let me explain how I did. Okay. Let me explain how this happened. So I'm in the living room, and there's a bunch of fake snow on the floor. And I noticed that I'm just playing around, you know, at a young age, running around the living room, and I noticed that the fake snow is like I'm creating gusts of wind with my sheer body. My momentum is like creating these spirals, frozen fractals spinning.
Whirling dervishes.
Whirling dervishes all around, whatever it is. And I'm like, oh, whoa, I can like engaging my enormous brain. I'm like, I can make some huge ass spirals here. So I start picking up various objects and just swinging them around my living room. And just creating bigger and bigger fractals, right? Bigger and bigger spirals with the fake snow. Now, in the living room at the time, we had probably the size of your standard office desk. We probably had a fish tank the size of that.
Oh, no.
And at a certain point, we probably had about, I think, 12 fish in this fish tank. A lot of water. A lot of water. I don't really know what it would be in cubic meters, but it was quite a bit. It was a very large fish tank. And I picked up this big basket, this big straw basket, heavy basket, and it had a metal rim on it. And what I was doing is I was running around scooping up air, and the force of it was causing the snow to spiral around the living room.
You're a little scientist.
Now, I was 10 years of age, didn't have much upper body strength, and this is quite a heavy basket. So you can probably guess where this next section of the story is going to go. But I do one little run around, and I swing the basket with all of my 10-year-old little yeeter energy, and I yeet this basket, and it goes flying across the room and collides with the fish tank. Filled with about 12 fish and about God knows how much water. And I remember just being in shock. As soon as it got let go, it was in slow motion for me. I realized what I had done. And it just goes flying into the fish tank, smashes it open. And the one thing I remember from that interaction was the water rushing against my body and the feeling of fish flapping against my legs. Flapping against my legs. And I just start freaking out, crying, screaming. I look around. The living room is soaked in an inch of water. There's fish dying. There's fish dying on the floor. I'm looking around. I have directly murdered 12 fish. Childhood, family pets I have killed because of my hubris in thinking that I could contain this basket with a metal rim. My sheer hubris. And immediately I'm like, oh God, I gotta save them. So I'm running into the kitchen as fast as I can, pouring out my cereal bowl, filling it with water, and running back into the living room, just trying to puddle fish into the bowl. But the fish are panicking, and they're jumping out of the bowl in my hands as I'm trying to pick them up. I'm trying to save them. But I can't. The fish don't want to be saved. They don't want to be saved. The fish just are panicking. And then eventually I run and get a bigger bowl. But at this point, I've taken so long in filling up the thing because our taps don't fill up with water that quickly. I walk back into the living room and half the fish are dead. And I'm staring at half of the fish dead. Some of them are just breathing lightly. And I'm thinking, don't you die on me, you son of a bitch. So I scoop up as many fish I can. As many fish that I can that are still alive. And I open the door. And at this point, my mum still doesn't know what the fuck's going on. She's running down the stairs. She just sees me with a bowl full of dead fish. Half alive, half dead. And I'm crying and I'm just screaming, I'm sorry, over and over again as I open the front door and run out of the front of the house.
Wait, why didn't you put them in the sink or the bath or something?
Because I was panicking and I just ran. I ran outside and I was like, they've got to survive. So I'm thinking and I'm trying to engage my brain as hard as I possibly can. This is the hardest I've ever worked. The cogs are turning at rates that are unprecedented at this point in time. And I'm like, okay, nearby, there's a creek about 5 minutes. I can maybe make it in 2 if I run. So I fucking run, being so careful with this bowl of water and fish.
Oh, no.
And the local kids are playing on the greenery nearby. And they're like, oh, hey, Bren, what's going on? And I'm just tears just down my eye, just rolling down my cheeks, just my face red, just running for this creek. And I run through the fields and I hop over the fence with this bowl of water. And I'm like, just over and over again, just crying, just saying, please don't die. Please don't die. I get to the creek. I chuck the fish from the bowl into the creek. And I didn't think about which direction the creek was going in. Because the creek was flowing right into a bramble bush. And I just witnessed the fish that I tried to save, the 5 fish that were still alive, just get caught in the bramble bush and suffocate. And that was the first time I killed an animal at the age of 10. And that has stuck with me.
You tried so hard to save them, and you just threw them into a thorn bush.
The cruel reality of life. Sometimes it doesn't matter how hard you try. You can't succeed every time.
Oh, what a traumatic beginning to your life.
You are, yeah. How did you make it this far? Beyond me.
I contribute stories like that. I have tons of them.
Why did you if you put the fish in a bowl of water, why did you think it would help to put them in a creek?
Because they might survive, right? They might go on to live.
Why couldn't they survive in a bowl of water?
Because I was 10 years old and panicking.
Well, to be fair, you did also say you had like 5 fish in one cereal bowl. It's hardly a great existence, is it?
Yeah. Meanwhile, your mom is probably like, eh.
She was just like, oh, whatever. Like, we had to replace the carpet and we didn't get a new carpet because we were poor as fuck. Like, you ever lived in a house with no carpet for a while?
Yeah, my parents' house has no carpet. It's just bare floorboards.
Right. Yeah. Well, no, not bare floorboards, but it's like the thing underneath the carpet. You know what I mean?
What, cement?
It's like, cement and stuff.
Cement. Oh my god! I love the idea of.
I mean, typically that's like
not wooden floorboards. Like you're thinking like nice floorboards. It's underneath the carpet is often just like cement and plywood.
I love the idea of Bren's mom just being like kind of passive aggressive about it, and just like, oh well, Brennan, I'd love if we have a proper carpet here, wouldn't I? Pretty good, wouldn't it?
She was a lovely mother. She didn't blame me for the death of the fish. I blamed myself for that. But
she probably realized you were already traumatized enough.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, it was 100% your fault.
Oh yeah, I know.
So just send this podcast to her.
Oh god. So I have 2 stories. We can pick one.
Okay.
That we want to share.
I mean, we have meetings and stuff, so I feel like we should go on for like 15 more minutes. So Goldenboy tells one story and Josh tells one story.
We get it, Johnny. You're important. You're busy.
No,
okay, we get it. Right.
I'm just trying to schedule the podcast.
All right. So I'm going to tell you. So I'm going to tell you this story. It's basically as a kid, my mom, she worked 2 jobs and she went to college, right? So she was constantly like working. She was always home, right? She would come home, she'd cook, she did all the mom things, right? But when we were at school, that's what she was grinding. She was doing, she was, getting her degree. She was actually, working 2 jobs as like a librarian, another one at a bank. Like she was hustling, right? Because single mom raising 2 boys, it wasn't easy. Also in the Bronx. So, again, like just trying to keep us off the street, that was a task in of itself. What would happen was that sometimes her schedule would overlap and she'd have to go directly from her classes. So typically she would like come pick us up, bring us, make us dinner, then go do her schoolwork and then work her night job at the library or her school. But sometimes it would overlap and her classes would it would be like job and immediately got to go to school. Right. Mm-hmm. My mom was an absolute boss, still is. So she would sometimes ask my brother to babysit me. And my brother, he hated me. He hated me. Because to be fair, I was a little shit. Like I was the worst. I was younger, right? And my mom let me get away with so much crap. It was unbelievable. And my brother would be like, he despised me for it, right? Like, for example, I would go into my brother's room and play Super Nintendo without him knowing. I would delete his Mario files on the regular. So he'd have to start from the beginning, and he'd hate me. Oh, God. Because all I wanted to do was play the games my brother had. Even though I had a Sega Genesis, right? Yeah. I wanted to play the games he had. And he had Super Mario Brothers, which was, awesome. And I wanted to play that, obviously. Why wouldn't you? But yeah, so that was this like context on my brother and myself. So the Mortal Kombat movie had just come out. And it was actually like one of the first like decent video game movies, right? We all remember it, Mortal Kombat, right? That great song and stuff, and is very, very popular. They so much so they used it in the recent Mortal Kombat release. What were we gonna say?
Never seen it.
No,
never seen Mortal Kombat.
No.
Wow, but you've heard the song though.
No.
Surely
Yeah.
you've heard the song. Everyone's heard the song. There you go.
Is that it? Is that
That's
song?
the Mortal Kombat song. That's
that is actually a good song.
I mean, it's horribly done, but yes, that is a Mortal
It's a
Kombat
good
song.
song.
I can't remember what they say. They scream something.
Mortal Kombat. That's what they're screaming. They're screaming Mortal Kombat, the name of the fucking movie. Anyway, moving forward. So the soundtrack to this had come out, and my brother loved it. Right, he loved Mortal Kombat. I couldn't play it because I was a kid. But then like my mom just stopped giving a fuck. She was like, whatever, you're not gonna like do anything bad, so just play the game. And then eventually I got into it, and then the movie came out, and then we all went to go see the movie, and it was awesome. And then he got the soundtrack, and he'd play that first song on repeat. I mean, he would play it on repeat in our stereo in the living room and fucking crank the speakers up. So it was distorting. It was like, like that's how it sounded. It was so much, right? That he's just cranking this. So one day, right, I'm in my room and I'm like playing with my Legos. I love Legos. I was playing with my Legos and stuff. And I said, I called my brother Aya. So I was like, Aya, could you stop? And he's just like, he looks at me. I kid you not, like he's at the speaker, like fucking headbanging, right? Like going wild. and then I go and I'm like, I'm like yelling at him because it's so loud. And I was like, stop it. Right. And then he turns to me with this fucking death, like turns to me with this death stare. His eyes are like freaking red. Like, I don't know what the hell possessed him, right? And then he goes mental. And he just comes up to me and he starts fucking throwing punches. And he's like going wild. And he's like yelling. He's like, oh, God, like, and I'm freaking out. I'm yelling. I was like, what are you doing? And I'm on the sofa and I'm like trying to defend myself. Of course, he's not hitting me. He's just like throwing air punches in my face, just being a pain in the ass, right? He's doing all this stuff. He keeps going. And I'm just like yelling. I'm like, please stop it. Oh my God. Right? I'm freaking out. Right. So he's losing his shit. And then we had this middle table in the living room. And our apartment was a railroad apartment. So it was like living room, kitchen, my bedroom, his bedroom. Right. So it was like pretty long, and my mom's room was over on the side. So he would go to the kitchen, right, and then run as fast as he possibly can, and then jump over the table in the living room. Mind you, our apartment was not big. Okay, it was not a big apartment. So he's just banging into the TV, right? And I'm just like really confused as to like why he's doing this, and then And he keeps doing this, right? And he keeps going nuts. So then I did the only thing that I felt like any reasonable kid could do. I went to my room and I got one of my plastic knives that I got from this like toy collection, and my mom bought me for like $2 at the bodega downstairs. So I had this knife and I was like, stop it, like freaking out. And then I'm like threatening to like hit him and stuff. So he just grabs me, wrestles the knife out of my hand, and then proceeds to do the same exact thing, except this time with a knife. And he's like, going like this while I'm on the sofa just losing my shit. Please stop it, right? So I decide to just book it, right? I run to my room, and my room we didn't have doors in our apartment because it was a Bronx apartment. They just didn't have doors. So what my mom got were these plastic like door closing, like I don't want to say they're not curtains, but it was just like this thing where it was like you would extend it and it was like plastic and you would connect with a magnet on one side, right? It was pretty popular at the time, right? So it's just like this plastic door, let's say. So I go and I freak out and I shut the plastic, right? And I'm like, oh my God, like my back is against the door, and I'm just like, what the hell? Like as a kid, I was like, I'm so scared, right? Because I gotta call mom, like he's lost his fucking mind. So right when that happens, my brother, in his freaking infinite wisdom, decided to chuck the knife at my door. And as I'm there, right? Just panicking. The freaking knife goes, like, and I look at the knife and I'm like, I'm yelling because he nearly killed me. And then he saw that, and then like he calmed down because he realized I was like deathly afraid. And then he was like, my middle name's Andrew, because just so you know, side story, and I know this is going to be a sidetrack. My brother's name is Alex. My name is Alex. My dad's name is Alex. It's stupid, I know. So my brother comes up to me, and my middle name's Andrew, and he's like, Andrew, I'm sorry. I was just playing around. And then I'm teary-eyed. I'm losing my shit because he knows that I'm gonna tell my mom. He knows that I'm gonna freak out, right? And then he was like, it's okay. Like, it's fine. I'm just playing around with you. And I was like, no, you're awful. How can you do this? I thought you were love me. I thought you were my brother. Like I'm losing I can't even breathe because I'm crying so much. And then he's like, do you want to do the Mortal Kombat dance with me? And then I was like, wait. He's like, you want to do the dance? You want to do the dance with me? And I was like, yeah, that's all I want to do. Spend time with you. And then he's like, okay. So he pumps the music, and then we start fucking doing it. and then I all these years later, I'll tell my brother this story, and he would instantly be like, I didn't do that shit. And that was, it is a fond memory because I got to spend time with my brother, but it was also horrifying because I thought my brother was going to kill me. And that's my
with a plastic knife.
With a plastic knife.
I was such a little dick to my little sister. You just reminded me of some like revenge that they got. I would, because I'm a year older than my sister, I would just like torture her regularly, and she would try and annoy me as well. But because I was bigger than her at the time as well, so I would just tease her and annoy her, and I would frequently like hide behind things and jump out and scare her, which I made an absolute art of. I would hide out in her closet for a good 30 minutes, just waiting for a good opportunity when she was about to go to bed to burst out and scare her, stuff like that. But after I'd been particularly annoying when she had a bunch of mates over, I think she had 3 of her girlfriends over, and then it was my sister, and my mum was like looking after them, and I was just plaguing them, just like being a little prick. I can't even remember what I was doing. I probably fancied one of her friends or something. I can't remember what I was doing. So I was being particularly annoying anyway. And so at one point, after they'd been telling me to fuck off over and over and over again, my mum got them together in like a group huddle, and it was like something from the NFL where they decided to run a set play, and I could see from the outside that they were conspiring against me, but I didn't know what was coming. I knew there was some kind of revenge, but I didn't know what it was going to be. At some point, they break and split, and 2 of them go to the freezer, and 3 of them run at me. And I'm like, oh God, it's over. I don't know what's happening, but it's just panic in my mind. I run out into the garden, and then my mum comes out, and 3 of them tackle me to the floor. And my mum, I don't know why, right? But my mum's got vanilla ice cream in her left hand and a spoon in the other hand. And what they had decided to do, for some reason, they had decided to shove vanilla ice cream down my pants. Like they thought, like they thought that would be, I don't know, embarrassing or just messy and sticky. So 3 of these girls have pinned me down. My sister just like rips open my trousers, and my mum shoves a spoonful of vanilla ice cream just straight down my pants. I can't explain to you why.
Kind of shit that awakens fetishes in you.
Yeah, I didn't know I had a fetish until right now. Jesus.
You just like getting up.
No, it was
jumped on by a bunch of girls and just like,
hey baby, what you want to do tonight?
It was terrible.
I don't know. Shove vanilla ice cream down my pants. Turns me on.
It was sticky and cold.
Definitely
it was
something
awful.
that awakens fetishes in people.
Well, I can tell you, I remained absolutely fetishless. Please do not.
I don't believe
anybody.
you. Let's pin him down and try it with ice cream. Let's see if he gets an erection.
Keep in mind, Bren, these were family members.
Exactly.
Hey, some people are into that kind of stuff. We don't kink shame.
All right. Well, boy, oh boy.
Delete the VOD.
Delete the VOD. Get it out of here.
The VOD.
We're doing so well.
Johnny, you told us an amazing story about when you were trying to impress a girl at your school, and I think that's one of the funniest stories I've ever heard.
I feel like I kind of want to save it for next time. I feel like we can do a part two of childhood stories. Where you guys
kind of have to. We kind of have to do a part 2 because we also have a ton of viewer stories as well. Like, I mean, we got some freaking money. The people were sending us just, I don't know how you guys continue to do this, but you guys are just the best. We have the best audience in the world. The tweets I was getting, some stories was nutty. Anyway, we have more.
I do have a second story of how I tried to ask a girl out when I was like 12.
Phenomenal.
Okay, very short.
Yeah.
So I just fancied this girl, and I was like, I'm gonna do a real manly thing, and I'm gonna ask her out for a meal because that's what a real gentleman does, right?
How old were you?
I was like 11, maybe. And I was like, I'm gonna be a real gentleman. I'm gonna ask her out for a meal. I'm gonna take her somewhere, pay for her food, and just be the bigger guy, you know? Because she was a woman. That doesn't make any sense. Why did I say bigger guy? She wasn't a guy at all. Anyway, and so I bring up the courage. And you guys know this feeling as well. Like, it takes a lot of courage to go up to a girl in the schoolyard, you know?
Yeah,
She's hanging out with all her friends. Yeah. And like, it takes a lot of courage. Like, I had to build that shit in. Like, it took me like 2 weeks to finally have the courage to walk up to her and ask her out. Her name was Lisa. So I walk up to her and I'm like, hey, Lisa. She was 1 year old, by the way. So bad move.
Oh.
You shouldn't ask someone out who's 1 year older than you. Because you should always look down when you're in school. You know, you can't like look up. Because in elementary school especially, age is such a... You know, it's only like 1 or 2 years, but at the time, it's such a big deal whether you're in 7th.
You look up and you will be blinded by their greatness.
Exactly. So I was this 11-year-old guy, and I'm like, I'm gonna try to date this 12-year-old girl, which sounds really bad when I say it in no context. And I go up to ask her out, and I'm like, hey, Lisa, would you mind if I took you out for some $1 fries? And she's just like, what's wrong with you? Shame for the rest of my life.
That's her response was, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, just like she didn't want $1 fries.
I would fucking take you up on that offer, Johnny. I'm not gonna lie.
Hey, you want to go on a date, Bren?
Yeah.
Sort it out.
Tight.
Sort it out. All right, before I say end my podcast for today, I just wanted to say that your story, Goldenboy, awoke a memory in me, and I just like to apologize to my dad for a very awful thing I did when I was like 8-9 years old.
Okay.
I'm sorry for deleting your Final Fantasy VII save.
Man.
I know you put like 40 hours into that. I'm really sorry, Dad.
You just reminded me of a story, but I'm like,
40 hours?
Can't tell it.
What do you mean?
Dude, Final Fantasy VII was a huge game.
No, but I'm saying he was 40 hours into it and you deleted it, you fucking dumbass.
I was like 8. I was like 8 or something.
I don't give a shit. Stay away from the PlayStation.
I didn't even delete it. I oversaved it with my own new game.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's the classic.
With your trash ass profile, and you probably had fire on cloud. What's wrong with you?
I'm sorry, Dad.
Oh man, he probably was starting to work on his chocobos too. Oh, you're the worst.
I'm sorry, Dad.
You're the worst, man.
Did you say that triggered a memory in you, Bren?
Yeah, but I can't tell it.
Why can't you tell it?
Because it's just like, it's so depressing.
What do you mean it's so depressing?
There's like a similar story. I was like, okay, all right. Boy, where do we begin? I was a bit of a little shit when I was a kid. And I was like, I also like to be a little bit inventive. So what I did was I got a little remote control car as a kid. And now my mum, right, at the time was seeing some dude who was abusive, right? And what I did was, as a kid, he was playing on an Xbox on the floor. He's playing Halo. Remember Halo Combat Evolved on the Xbox. And I was like, I wonder if I can turn off the Xbox, because you remember the original Xbox, the middle power button was right smack bang in the middle. I was like, I wonder if I can turn it off by like taping a pen to my new remote control car and doing it remotely from the other room.
Yeah,
and
he'll never know who's in charge of the car.
yeah. It was like he'll never know. So I just fucking did it, and I did it. I nailed it, and I just started laughing, thinking it was the funniest thing in the world. And then he just started screaming at me. And I was just like, oh, God, no, what a mistake. And I was just like running to my room, just getting away from this fucking nutcase.
I
just set off.
I actually sort of
you fucking pulled it off, which is the more impressive part of it.
Yeah, you did. That was impressive. I actually did a pretty similar thing. I was playing video games on a PlayStation 2 with my cousin. And he beat me because he's 2 years older than me. And I was pissed. And I was like, I'm going to take my game and I'm going to go home. And so I pressed the eject button while the PlayStation was running. And he was furious and he started punching me.
Oh my God.
Because when you play the PlayStation, you can never eject the disc while it's running because that's going to ruin the PlayStation. It's going to ruin the disc. And we have to be very careful about that.
Damn. So, I mean, we've had some pretty crazy moments with our siblings as well. I know I have, Josh, whatever that was, you have had as well.
Some weird fetish
we
thing,
had a viewer.
I got vanilla ice cream down my pants.
Submit a story that I think. How long do we have? We have time for at least one.
Yeah,
I'll give you 5 minutes.
Sure.
I need to shower.
Doesn't involve poop.
So I don't know. I haven't read the story, but I saw that it involved a child. So let's just do this. So Whimsy Poof on Twitter said. Hashtag foreheads. Make sure if you guys want to share stuff with us, use the hashtag the foreheads. My fondest childhood memory was when I was 7 years old. To this day, I'm a pretty organized guy, and my little sister is the opposite. She destroys everything. When I was younger, I had a box of toys. When I was done with the toys, I will put them back. What a good kid. One afternoon, I put my toys away, and my sister knocked over the box and created a mess. My mother saw the mess and blamed me for it. I knew my sister made the mess, but I cleaned it up regardless. Minutes later, my sister knocks it over again, and my mother sees it. Now, my mom is really upset that I haven't cleaned the toys, and I tried to tell her that my sister did it, but she didn't believe me. I cleaned my toys and then came up with the most diabolical scheme to get back at my sister. I calmly walked upstairs to my sister's room. I'm imagining something very sadistic here. I calmly walked upstairs to my sister's room and decided to fight fire with fire. I approached a window in her bedroom, looking out of the backyard, and smashed my head into it, causing the glass to break. My mom ran upstairs and asked what happened. I told her that my sister made a mess, so I broke her window. This plan backfired, though, because now with the window destroyed, my sister had to sleep in my room. I'm not sure how breaking a window compares to knocking over a toy box, but that's kid logic for you.
I thought he was going to say, I blame my sister pushed me into the window.
But no,
which by the way would be like horrendously fucked up.
It'd be like way worse.
Well, it's the ravings of a psychopath lunatic that he calmly walked into and headbutted a window. He could have torn his face to shreds.
Wow, he was a kid.
Well, he clearly cracked the window. He's got enough power to be able to do that. Probably been working out, got the neck muscles going. Probably did some martial arts as a kid.
So we have another one here that was pretty funny just because of how it ended, like on Twitter. So Left Specters says, I played coach pitch baseball, which I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but it's like the coach is the one that pitches, not another kid.
Okay.
When I was 7, older than T-ball, not enough for real baseball. It's like it's for kids. It's meant for kids.
Yeah, but I can just see the kid, like the coach, playing with the kids and just fucking yeeting.
No. It was underhand. It was more than likely under.
Oh, okay. Go on.
We didn't do that in the Bronx, though. We had other kids throw it, and those kids yeeted the fuck out of those balls. Anyway, so I played coach pitch baseball when I was 7, older than T-ball, not old enough for real baseball. They had a system where if you struck out, they would let you hit one off the tee. Okay. For half the season, I was intentionally missing the ball and then using the tee to hit a slow ground ball to the third baseman because none of us had the arm strength to throw the ball from third base to first base.
Wow, this guy's really put a lot of thought into his
the
strategy.
Coaches eventually figured it out and what I was doing and had to talk to my parents about it. So then someone tweeted, "Are you going to finish the story?" And then he responds with, "That was the end."
What?
So this guy, intelligently enough, just shat the bed every time he went up to pitch, and then guaranteed that he got a base hit each and every time. Oh man,
and they had to tell his parents about it. I mean, at that point, if you're a parent, you just feel satisfied that you've raised an intelligent human being.
That's
critical
very true.
thinking at its finest.
We got one more here that I'm going to read. This one is a little bit longer, and it seems to have some length.
I don't know if we have time for
last
this.
one.
Last one.
Last
Leaving. Okay.
Okay. My most embarrassing childhood memory is back when I would watch Hannah Montana in my living room. This is from Tajin at Likely Insane on Twitter. It says, and it would be so engrossed into the episode that I would feel the urge to urinate. But not wanting to miss a single second of the show, I had the most resourceful idea: to piss behind my parents' velvet couch. This continued for next year until my parents had decided to get rid of the sinful couch.
Oh, no.
When my older cousin asked why the couch smelled of piss while moving it to the dump, I simply stayed quiet. Another time was during nap time when a kid had licked my toes and it felt okay. So I would point at them so he could lick them again. After about 15 or so minutes of this softcore CP, the licking had ceased. And me being confused, I peeked my head out of my blanket and saw my teacher. The look she gave me is forever ingrained in my head as the most disgusted and disappointing face I've ever had seen. I'd also like to mention that I'm a guy and straight, as much as the earlier tweet disagrees with that.
Wow.
I don't believe the piss story. I'm sorry. I don't believe the piss story. I think it's made up. You can all enjoy it. I don't buy it. I don't buy it.
I'm not buying stocks in that story.
Nobody pisses at a couch for a year straight without no one noticing.
Hey, I mean, stranger things have happened.
I would tend to agree. My little brother actually used to hide salmon. Whenever we gave him salmon, he would not eat it.
Thank God you said salmon. Thank God you said salmon.
And whenever he'd have the leftovers at the end that he refused to eat, we'd be like, well, you're not leaving the table until you eat your dinner. But we would all leave the table. And then he, without us realizing, would take his little bowl of salmon and he'd run off. And behind this cupboard, he'd scrape it all out. And we only realized, I mean, you would think that you'd be able to smell that much fish, especially if it started rotting or something. We only realized when the dog started like scrabbling at the cupboard after maybe 2 or 3 times of him dumping the fish like that. And we didn't have fish every day, right? So this is like weeks into the future after the first instance. The dog's like scrabbling at this cupboard trying to get behind it. And we're like, what the hell is behind it? Pull it open. And it's like a carcass of salmon from all of the stuff that he's put behind there.
What the hell, dude?
So I don't know.
That's
People
amazing.
are weird. It's kid logic.
It really is kid logic, man. It's impressive stuff. So we had a bunch of other topics to get into, but obviously we won't. I think that what we should do is shelve more of our fondest, embarrassing childhood memories for a later episode.
Yes.
And then next week we're going to get back to, more of the
regularly
usual,
scheduled AI
shenanigans.
podcast.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, next week I will be in Los Angeles. So that's going to be pretty fun. That's right. Also, I will be at the Kit Kat Rivalry weekend. It was just announced yesterday for the LA Valiant. So for the Overwatch League fans, you'll see us. Maybe we should do something. We should do like a meet and greet or something.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty. Like, we'll just find a bar. Maybe we'll just go to Guildhall. And then we'll just, I'll be really far though from where we are.
Yeah, it is really far.
Don't do Guild. We'll do like I don't know.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
Local area or something.
Yeah, we'll figure something out. Any suggestions, of course, always welcome. But yeah, that's it for this week. Wow, we crushed it. Way to kill the game.
Mr. Morello is outside in his car waiting for me.
Oh God, he could just fuck right off.
Yeah.
Dude, I need to shower.
All right, guys, go shower, go do your stuff. I got a flight to catch. This has been the Foreheads Podcast. Make sure you subscribe. Check us out on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube. Subscribe in there as well. If you enjoyed the show live, thank you so much. If you have any comments, leave it in the comment section down below. We may read it in the next episode of the podcast. Leave us a review. We're trying to get to at least like 100 reviews. If we can get to 100 freaking reviews, we might actually show up in the damn rankings for the podcast stuff, which would be really sick. I don't know. It's just a theory I cooked up in my mind just to get you guys to review us some more. Thank you guys so much for checking this out. This is the Foreheads Podcast. Catch you next week. Peace.
Turn up.
Later.